Hey, what's up, hunting family? It is Ron Menser, and we are back at with another episode of Tracks and Tackle. Let me bring on the boys. We got a full house tonight. We got Chris, Josh, and Lee. How are you doing tonight, gentlemen?
What's up, dudes?
We're doing good.
Howdy, boys.
How's your week been going, fellas?
So far, so good.
Yeah, not everybody all at once.
Busy. School
I've
start.
had
I don't know about you guys in PA, but school doesn't start until after Labor Day down here. So
Oh,
getting the
really?
kids ready for school.
Yeah,
So
our kids are back to school, and the commute to work is behind school buses, and all that good stuff that goes with it. So we're
yep,
we're there already.
now ours start back on Tuesday next week.
yep. After Labor Day.
Hmm.
Well, we got a pretty good topic to go over tonight. I know that it's kind of we joke, the old Christmas song. It's the best time, most wonderful time of the year. And then parents, when you got kids and they go back to school from summer vacation, you're thinking like it's the best time of the year. I'm getting the kids back to school into a rhythm and stuff. But really, this is the best time of the year because we're going to talk season prep, and we're going to talk about gear, and we're going to talk about what we hunt with. And frankly, we're going to talk about must-have tools for the season prep, and then we're going to tackle this question of when does gear go from helping us to hurting us? Are we losing a skill set that I think of like my grandfather, my great grandfather? It was him and the woods and his firearm, and at what point do our tools stop helping us, and are they a detriment to us because we've lost some of what the old timers were able to do? So should be a pretty cool episode.
Yeah, for
Heck
sure.
yeah.
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 Let's get into it. But Chris, one of your things is you always like to do the "What's in your bag" segment, right?
Right, for sure. Yep.
So why don't I hand it off to you, and let's talk about our gear and
Right.
maybe some recommendations that we got around the table here.
Yeah, totally. So, one of the things that we talked about with kind of plan some episodes and get things geared into hunting season is some must-haves that we take with us. I'm not talking about your firearm or your bow or your waders or your decoys. What stuff that you could take with you that you depend on? Recommendations that you have, guy getting into hunting or the old timer switching over to stuff. So we all came up with some lists. I know Josh and Lee's a little bit. Josh accidentally told me his earlier. I don't know
Josh has
Ron's,
Josh has
but
been pressing a lot of accidental buttons this week.
so so we each came up with 4 or 5 must-haves for our backpacks or our gear, and we're going to talk about those and slip into some stories. So Ron, I don't know yours. You go first, buddy.
Man, I wanted to go last because I don't have, I was just saying my list is not what I would
Okay.
call a list. So whenever I go out, my main thing is I spend most of the time when I'm hunting whitetails, I'm archery hunting, right? So my main things, obviously, your bow. I do a lot of hunting out of a climber tree stand. So for like, I don't know, for $100, you can get a hang on or a climber, maybe under 200, you can get a good climber that you can sit in all day long and have a nice, seat to sit in and nap in and everything in between. But like those are the big ticket items. Whenever I go out, I always have a backpack, and in that backpack are a few things. Me, because I'm producing content or trying to create content, I've always got cameras, and probably need to upgrade in some of the stuff that I've got, but I carry Tacticams. When I started filming my hunts, I started with just a cell phone, and I realized that I had an opportunity to fling an arrow at a deer, and I had to put the phone away, get the bow off the tree hook, draw, and I was able to take the animal, but I didn't get that shot, that action shot that everybody wants to see on your YouTube video. So I invested in 2 small Tacticams, one that I could put on my bow, one that I could, face on me from another angle. And then I got a remote that I wear around my neck. And so I don't have to try to push buttons to get them to record. I can just take that remote, tap a button, and they both start recording at once. That's techie, and that's not always like necessarily not all hunters are doing what I'm doing more now than, back in the day. But that's always a go-to. And then batteries, for that sort of stuff. So from me, if I'm archery hunting, I'm trying to capture the moment. And so I've got the camera gear. I also carry, an arm that I can attach to the tree that will swivel, that I can put a camera with a zoom lens on. That's my setup. So my setup is usually a tree stand, one camera arm, a Tacticam on my bow, and then a Tacticam usually up above me. And then the other techie tool that I use, and definitely less during rifle season when it's colder out, but more in the archery season where it's maybe a little bit warmer temps. I carry an Ozonics. I've always wanted an Ozonics for years. I envied guys that had them, and I just didn't want to break down, spend the money. A couple of years ago, I got one. And so that's an ionizing device that I can put up above myself, and it creates kind of like this umbrella of neutralizing the ions around me. So like, not $5 tools, but they're small gadgets that I take with me. And that's part of the fun for me, because I like to capture the moment on video, and I want to be scent free. And so like, those are two things that I take with me almost every time they're in my bag when I go out.
Right.
I'm glad you said Ozonics, because I literally just bought one 2 weeks ago. Have you noticed a difference with using that?
I haven't, there are people that say that they swear by them, they work, and there are people that say they don't make a difference. My experience is I see deer when I'm out in the woods. You know what I mean? I think it's just like anything. We were talking a couple episodes ago, Lee, it buys you time. Yep. When we were talking about the scent and
What's
tracking.
funny, because if you notice beside me, I just bought a scent locker for my gear that runs Ozonics in it.
Yep.
And then I just bought an Ozonics for my tree stand. So
the way I look at it, it doesn't hurt. My next purchase is probably going to be I'm looking at some Hex gear.
Okay.
Because I know guys that swear by that stuff too.
Yep.
Cool.
So I don't know if that answers your question, Chris, but that springboards us.
Well, no, see, for me, this is getting interesting now, because we got 4 different people here, 4 different focuses when they go in the woods. Like me personally, right now, I mean, I might start getting into it a little bit more, but like I don't film my hunts. I don't do any of that. I carry things that are more tailored to butchering into the woods with me. I take a ratchet strap. I mean, for me, that's an invaluable resource to have in the woods, always in my backpack. You can drag a deer with it. You can hang a deer with it. You can put a tree stand up against, add extra support for your tree stands. You could do any number of things with a ratchet strap, and it weighs about a pound.
And it's affordable.
You throw that in your backpack. I carry 2 or 3 Ziploc bags in my backpack, because if I do harvest a deer, hopefully, I'm saving the heart and I'm saving the liver right off the bat. And, I don't want to mix that with the gut pile or whatever, or stick it in my bag all bloody. So I always carry a couple of Ziploc bags with me. Zip ties, always a good thing to have in your bag. And, that's just a couple of my cheap tips. A knife sharpener.
Yeah. Let me chime in here. Oh, sorry. Let me chime in real quick on because we keep the heart too. And so one thing that I'll always have is I'll pack a sandwich. This is a pro tip, because I'll pack a sandwich, and in that sandwich is carried is a Ziploc bag.
Yep.
And so the bag my sandwich was in ideally will be the bag that I carry the heart out in.
Heck yeah.
Josh,
what you got, Lee?
Things a serial killer would carry.
Not a serial killer.
Was that your whole list, Josh? I don't want to.
Just on my overall general stuff, I have other things that we'll get into later for specific things. But yeah, from like what's in my general bag, I, for the most part, yeah, that transfers through all the seasons for me.
So, I mean, you guys know that I do deer and ducks. So, of course, I've got a deer bag and I've got a duck bag. And we talked before we went live here. Usually, when I'm deer hunting, I literally carry a rifle and a pair of binoculars. I love my Vortex binoculars with a chest rig.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I'm bow hunting, it's right there on my chest. When I'm duck hunting, I'm in the blind. It's right there. I don't have to do a bunch of movement. So the number one thing I carry all the time, no matter what I'm hunting, whether I'm predator hunting, deer hunting, or duck hunting, is my binoculars. And like I said, Vortex, I've had great success with them. They're not as expensive as some of the other ones, and they're just as good, in my opinion. Lifetime warranty. I've already had to use the lifetime warranty once, and they came through clutch with that. So yeah, that's my number one go-to. Next after that, I would have to say is a headlamp. And you guys know when we go duck hunting, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're trying to set decoys out in the water and trying to avoid soft spots and some little dangerous, areas that we can get into. So my headlamp, I'll gladly spend, $100 or $200 on a really, really nice headlamp that's going to last me. I've had, the Amazon, Walmart, $5 headlamps, and then they die on me halfway through and, walking through the marsh and stuff. So second would definitely be headlamp. And that's also good for when I got to track a deer. I want something, or even field dress a deer.
Yeah.
I like something that's on my head that I have both hands free. And I can field dress my deer without getting, having to drop the flashlight or holding a flashlight. It gets to be a pain in the butt. So a headlamp would be my second thing.
Yeah, let me jump in just real quickly.
No, good.
Just if I can make a recommendation when buying headlamps, make sure you get one that's got a red light on it.
Yes,
I mean,
this has a
that's
red light.
like all of us that are duck hunters know you're out there in the dark. That red light, not only is it less visible to everything, but it's almost more visible to other humans. So like even from a distance, you can see somebody's red light flashing,
Oh yeah.
So it's just, if you're going to buy a headlamp, make sure you get one that's got a red light on it.
Well,
Yeah,
and
we
you
would
guys know.
we would go ahead.
Go, Chris.
We would get that. I remember some of the early spots we'd get to. We did it a couple of times, Lee, but you get set up, like you said, 0 dark 30, and you're going to put that red light on somewhere so people can see that you're out there. They're not even going to come anywhere close to you then.
Mm-hmm.
You can just hang it up. It doesn't have to be on you. You can put it on the side of the blind or whatever like that. But that's marking our territory, so to say.
Well, and you guys
Right.
know when you get into a wooden box, well, we're hunting. If we're hunting acetique, we're hunting a wooden box that's 8x4. You get 3 of you in there, and you've got somebody that's got a 1,000 lumen headlamp. They're blinding everybody in the duck blind. So everybody going to red light. You can still load your guns. You can still do whatever you want to do, but then you can flip to that 1,000 lumen, spotlight if you need to see the decoys or walk in the marsh and stuff. So yeah, headlamps are definitely one of my go-tos for both duck and deer. Next, when it comes to ducks, I always carry a small utility knife for breasting out my ducks. Or if I need to cut reeds or cut paracord or something like that. And then jumping into deer would be my dad's trusty. He bought these from Buckmasters 30 years ago, and it's just a gutting set. And these things
Mm-hmm.
have gutted more deer than I can count. I mean, every deer on the wall back here has been gutted with these sets, this set of knives, plus hundreds more. So knives are definitely a big thing, especially when you're deer hunting. Like I said, you got to field dress your deer and stuff.
Yeah, Josh.
Don't josh me. Somebody's got to do it.
And then lastly, my go-to for duck hunting on the duck hunting side would be a jerk rig. There's a lot of times where you don't have a lot of water movement, and a rig like this would help you out to make you get some motion in the water for your ducks. There's been several times where I've been caught without, zero wind, zero movement in the decoys, and the ducks are just flying right over. So the last probably 2 or 3 seasons, I mean, this only takes, you see how big this takes. It literally fits in one of the pockets of my backpack. I got a little 1 pound weight on it. It's perfect. So if I need it, I have it. It's not always a necessity, but if I do need it, it's with me. And then lastly, my honorable mention, I would have to say, would be a boar snake. And there's been a lot of times where we've been out duck hunting and stuff, and you get debris down in your barrel. I've dropped my gun plenty of times. This thing has come in clutch. This is more of a duck hunting thing or open, upland game thing, but a boar snake in either 12 gauge or 20 gauge has definitely saved me quite a few times out in the marsh or out in the field to clean my barrel to make sure I have a safe weapon.
How
So
about when you get really upset pheasant hunting and you throw your
you
antique
spear your
shotgun?
you spear your shotgun right into the mud. Yeah, Chris, you would
Yeah.
know all about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Your classic antique 20 gauge shotgun.
Yeah. Let me take this cool shotgun that was out here. Really helps to shoot pheasants if you have a shell racked.
Makes a
in the gun,
difference.
So I'll
It
get
does
into
not
mine.
make a difference on how it stabs into the ground when you throw it.
Makes no difference then.
I javelined it.
All right, Chris, what's
I'll
in your bag, bro?
I'll get into my list. I went more just simple backpacking. You boys have been to the duck hole that we go to a lot of times. It's legitimately 30 seconds away from our friend's house. A light pack in, so we don't take a ton of stuff with us, man. So, one of the first things I always have, Josh, you're going to know what these are. Pair of sunglasses. Okay,
Yes,
where do you
sir.
get these from? You can get these from any rental place, Harbor Freight. These are $2 sunglasses. They're great to use on a boat. If you drop them, not the end of the world. They're pretty dark. Some you can even get a polarized. They're $2. You can get them from Harbor Freight, Walmart. Great thing to always have on you. Not the end of the world again if you lose your regular sunglasses. I always have sunglasses with me. Number two that I always take, kind of piggybacking off something Lee did, always have a pair of these in my backpack. These wire strippers. Great for trimming your decoy line, trimming branches, trimming fence, even just trimming little bits of trees and branches if you got to go out there and make some more cover. Great thing. We use dude wipes, Keystone Hunters, so let's get with it. It's 2025. Okay.
Everyone wants to be fresh and clean.
Yeah. Have you guys heard the dude wipe commercials from Steven Ranella?
No,
No.
Oh my gosh, they're funny. They're the best wipes, pants down. That's what he says.
pants down.
Yeah.
It's great though, because the Keystone guys, they got a point. Like that's something we all have encountered. You
Yeah.
get that breakfast meal if you had breakfast, or you get that mid-morning push, and next thing you know, tummy's rumbling.
You got the push.
Yeah.
Josh, how funny was it? One of the first times that we went duck hunting on the island in Cadorus, and Goldhammer went up in the woods because he was dropping trowel. And of course, we hit him with here's ducks, ducks, ducks. Here they come. And he
Ducks,
comes
ducks, ducks.
running out, trying to pull up his waders.
Doing the waddle.
Yeah, rolling down the hill. But anyways, yeah, you can literally get these from the dollar store, Dollar Tree, Walmart. Have nice ones. They're great for anything you want, and they fit in your backpack, pretty light. A lot of the stuff that I talk about on here, whether it's fishing or hunting, spend the money you want to spend. You want to get nice stuff, get nice stuff. If you want to get stuff that goes in the bag or can be dropped and get wet, that's the stuff I use.
Let me just throw in on here, Chris, not to interrupt you, but
Go ahead.
when you're talking about, like Lee was talking headlamps, and you can get like a really good headlamp with all the features that you guys were talking about. The headlamp I use, I found it. Somebody left it. Like it's one of those items, I can afford to lose it. It was laying in a field in a tree line on the edge of the field. I sat down one day. I was, out taking the gun for a walk, and there's a headlamp. I've been using that thing for, 5-10 years. They just, throw new batteries in it. So there's something, if you can get something that's affordable, like those sunglasses, and you lose them on the boat, no big deal. Yeah. That's not a bad way to go.
Let me tell you a story about sunglasses real quick too, and why I use cheaper ones. I bought myself a nicer pair of kind of tinted sunglasses. Weren't expensive, but they weren't cheap. We're out of Cadorus at the big lake. I dropped them right in the water. They sunk in. They're lost. We come back 2 weeks later. They're floating in front of our blind. Just yoinked in, grabbed them up, right? So, yeah, sunglasses. I always have a lighter with us. That's just always with me. Anyways, we're smoking cigars out there.
Me too.
We have birthday celebrations with our kids in the blind. But if you need to, trim up some stuff, extra thread, extra cord, whatever, you can do that. Josh and I last year on our deer hunting property, it was cold the first day of rifle season. Josh has a grill down there where we can all meet up. We started a little barrel fire, kind of kept warm. What's that? 2-3. I don't have it with me, but I got it from Walmart, man. I talk about it a lot. I got a $3 olive drab fleece pullover that just goes over everything. One of those things that's a layered thing. I don't like wearing a coat all the time when we're swinging guns. It's different than deer hunting where you're sitting still. I mean, we're moving. Lee and these guys will tell you we're moving, and I don't like wearing a coat. So I have a really cool olive drab fleece pullover. I'll post some pictures of it. One of my top things that I got, that's why I got my duck lanyard on, is I bought this monocular. I got it from a site like Temu. It's not expensive. You are not
You're not range
word?
finding with that.
Yeah, you're not going from mountain range to mountain range spotting deer with these. But if you're on a small creek like we hunt, or even in your tree stand, hangs right from your neck. It's just like a rifle scope. You're going to see right away. It hangs from my lanyard. It's a really cool thing. I've given them as gifts for people. Again, you're not spotting mountain mule deer and mountain goats from ridge to ridge on it, but it's a cool little thing. So I have two honorable mentions. One of these things is Josh just takes us back to when we were kids. This is a little one, but I always have some cork with me that I burnt.
All
Why
right.
do you burn it? Because you can
Face paint it.
and it wipes off real easy. It's easier than the greasy stuff. It's kind of fun to do with your kids. Always have one of those. And if you hunt with me, Josh knows, most of us that duck hunt, you got to have a cool hat. You got to have like a signature hat. Josh has one of those Russian hats with the earmuffs on it. Is there a picture behind us in that, Josh, when we killed our canvasbacks, you're wearing it?
I have a bunch of pictures.
I bought one of these old Jones hats. I like to, obviously, if you guys listen to the show, this old traditional stuff.
We'll drop some photos of some different hat options.
There's Josh's hat right there.
With Presley and his coot.
Presley and the coot, yeah. So those are my top ones that I carry. Again, it's just stuff I can throw in the backpack, throw in a light pack, throw in a pocket, and go. There's different stuff we're going to take, obviously, if we're doing all day sits or if we're doing deer hunting or whatever. But stuff like that's simple. Throw in a pocket, rock and roll, good to go. So
here's the pivot point, I guess, because all of these little things that we take them because we utilize it, right? It makes the hunt easier. You're out there in the wild, and all you have is what you have on you. And once you've hunted for so many years, like we've all had different experiences where we come up against different instances where, man, I wish I would have had that, that buck knife, or I wish I would have had that lighter in this instance. So the Chris sent me a really cool post the other week, and he said this would be a cool topic to talk about. And the concept was, it was posing the question, how much, like at what point does our gear switch from aiding us to preventing us from honing our skills forward? I don't know if I'm saying that right or not.
No,
but at some point, like all the gadgets like that I'm using, descent control and everything else, like the old timers didn't have that. They had the red flannel, and it was sit still, be quiet, be at the right place at the right time. And they had success doing that, So I want to open up this conversation because I think it's a really cool topic, and I want to get some feedback from you guys on, clearly, we got gear that hones our skill, but what is it like? What replaced it? What replaces that skill honing? At what point does it change? What are your thoughts on this topic, guys?
I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. I mean, even down to your camouflage. I mean, how many old things from Fred Bear do you read? The best camouflage is sit down and be quiet, right? I mean,
Yep.
uh, Lee and I, how many times Lee and I have we gone down to the Eastern Shore, heavily, heavily hunted place, and just sat on the beach with no decoys and shot ducks, literally
Yep.
sitting like kids, feet in the water, just sitting on the beach. You know, I think a lot of things go into it. Every place, every experience is different. So it's a broad statement.
I wonder, like being an archery guy,
Hmm.
having a rangefinder is a game changer.
Yeah.
None
It
of us have
is.
talked about that, right? But having a rangefinder
Well, I mean,
versus hunting without a rangefinder, like it
Yeah.
changes the hunt.
Yeah.
you can go as much as so. When my father started muzzleloader hunting, it was iron sights.
Hmm.
We all use scopes nowadays.
Yes.
Everybody and their brother has a scope on their muzzleloader, rifle, shotgun. So I mean, you could say the same thing for that. Um,
Yeah.
to my standpoint on that is it makes us a more accurate and more ethical hunter to put a more ethical shot on an animal.
Right?
Good
And
point.
I want my animal to expire peacefully and not suffer and run and all that stuff. So I mean the technology's there and we all use the technology nowadays. I'll be the first to admit I've got OnX. I love it. I've got cell cameras.
Yep.
Every picture that you guys see on my Instagram and Facebook is my cell camera. With as soon as the deer is in front of it, I get a notification instantly. um, does it make me a better hunter? No, I mean these animals are. It helps me, but these animals are free range. It's not like I'm shooting fish in a barrel. It's not like I'm in a high fence area. They can do what they want to do. I still got to get down there to the tree stand if there's a deer, at my camera.
Hmm.
So I mean they've got a chance. But yes, it does change the game. It helps us.
Yeah.
Technology has changed everything in our lives.
Everything.
Well,
Whether
and
everything
the
technology is everywhere nowadays.
and the
So I mean,
baseline is, sorry, go ahead.
no, good, good.
The baseline is you knew from your knowledge and experience where to put the cameras though. You didn't just
Yeah.
randomly put those up. So that's the base of it. You knew, okay, I have deer in this area. I've been watching them. I put the work in. I'm going to put them in this area. Now I'm observing them here. Now I'm observing their actions here. So you can change your plan
Well, and the
from there.
cameras go to, like we talked about earlier, several podcasts ago about, what's legal in certain states and what's not.
Yeah.
Maryland, I'm lucky enough that I can use cameras, I can bait, I can do all this stuff. There's other states that you can't use cameras, you can't bait and all that. So if it's legal to me, if the state sees that it's legal to me, I'm going to take every advantage so I can be more successful and fill the freezer and harvest the animals. That being said,
Okay.
though, there's times where I will go out there and I mean, I haven't set a camera a couple of years in a row now, but I mean, everybody has their own niche and wants to do what makes them happy. So, I mean, good, Josh.
I want to take this discussion and flip it from hunting though over into the fishing world for just a minute.
Do it.
With all these new depth finders and fish finders that people are running, and they're really not that expensive, but you can get a 3D image of what is beneath you and X amount of yards left and right.
Mm-hmm.
You can be motoring at 20 miles an hour through the center channel of the Chesapeake Bay and getting a crystal clear image of everything that is beneath you. So does that take away from the sport of fishing when you're able to almost positively identify a hotspot for fish as opposed to knowing the travel patterns of that fish or where it's going to be just because there's a catfish hole over here. I know this. My grandfather's fished it for 30 years. My dad fished it. Now I fish it.
Hmm.
Now I can just take my boat out there with a rangefinder. There's a 60-foot hole there. I'll bet you there's a monster catfish down there. Does it take the
I
sport away, or is it or is it an advantage for people that are trying to put fish in the boat?
Yeah, I think well, without a doubt, it's an advantage to have tools like this, right? I mean, I don't think any of us would debate that. One of the things you said about, look, my granddad fished here, my dad fished here, I fished here. Like I know tribal knowledge goes a long way, and that's the whole point of me bringing this subject matter to the table is, because I think like once you've hunted a property for so many years, like, travel patterns, or you fished a certain fishing hole for so many, like, where the hot spots are going to be. Doesn't matter. But the question that lies at the heart of this topic is, are guys today, like, are your kids, are they losing a skill set that your dads and grandfathers would have had? And that's contributed by, like, we have things that make it easier on us, and I think that there's a point of, is it a diminishing returns? Like, there's a return on having gear that, to your point, Lee, it isn't, having a scope allows me to put a more accurate shot on a deer than firing with iron sights, but is there a diminishing return on that where I'm losing skill? Because back in the day, there was no option to shoot with a scope, and you either learned to shoot or you got your shirt tail cut.
Yeah,
I agree. I think go ahead, Chris.
I think shooting and optics is probably the best example of any of it. Like, for instance, and I'm not taking away from it, but these guys with sights and rifles that can shoot 400, 500, 600 yards away.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
is that hunting? I'm not going to take it away from somebody. I mean, you're a quarter mile away, and then we joke all the time. I mean, we've done the pheasant hunts. Lee's seen it. Lee, I've seen your dad back in the day. Those old dudes don't miss. Our dads didn't miss, and they don't have the chokes, and they don't have the semi-automatics. I mean, our dad missed a pheasant one year, and Josh and I were like, okay, what is happening?
Yeah. My dad tells a story. I'll let you go in a second, Josh. My dad tells a story, and I think he talked about it on like one of our older shows, but he said when he was young, like a teenager, he had a shotgun, and it was like an old no-name brand shotgun, but he said, man, you could point that thing at the ground and it would kill a bird out of the air. They just, but go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I just think it's very interesting that we're sitting here having a debate about the accuracy of rifles now compared to what our fathers dealt with. And I'm literally I was listening to a book the other day, and I was listening to when Daniel Boone and his brother sat down and they were having an argument about the rifles that they were using versus these new Kentucky long rifles that people were bringing over the mountains, and how these people had so much more of an advantage because they have rifled scopes, or they have rifled barrels instead of these old smoothbore barrels. Their barrels are 2 inches longer. And
sharpshooters.
They were thinking, at the time, that it was unsportsmanlike that now this person, instead of shooting a deer at 50 yards away, can now reach out to 100 accurately. And, back then that was their livelihood. So, I mean, just in the spirit of irony, I think it was crazy that I listened to that the other day, and now we're sitting here having a very similar debate in modern times.
Yeah. This is similar to, the guys that bow hunt. You got crossbow guys, you got compound guys, you got recurve guys, really traditional guys that make their own bows. However extreme you want to get, like, hunt your hunt. We're not telling anybody how to change or to do it a certain way. It's just the fact that there is a skill that's lost. And I use this example. Lee, you brought up the Onyx thing. I was out, I think I brought this up on an episode or two ago, where my Onyx reset for some reason on my phone, and I had to log back in. I could pull it up, but I could not log. I didn't know which email address I had originally set it up on, so I didn't have any of my pins for where my trail cameras were. And so it was me and the mountain. Now, I knew the mountain I was on, and I was able to navigate it and get to where I needed to go, but it was almost like a mental reset for me. Like, man, this is how we used to do it before cameras. And I remember my brother telling me a story once. This predates me, but I guess there used to be like counters, like before cameras, you could put over a deer trail like something that would count how many times something walked across that
Walked
trail.
past it. Yeah, yeah. I've
You know,
heard of those before.
and you don't even know if it was a deer,
Yeah, could have been a
but
raccoon, a
it
bear.
gave you an edge on,
Mhm.
you knew that this was an active trail. So there's all sorts of tricks of the trade, and the old timers, they knew, that's the tribal knowledge that's got passed down. My dad's taught me X, Y, and Z, and that's what I carry with me today. It's made me the hunter that I am today.
I do want to say one thing, going back to the scopes and the guns and, crossbows and bows and stuff. It's honestly how you want to, when it comes to kids, it's honestly how you want to raise your kids. My son is shooting 22, that's open sights.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his compound bow out. That's how I want to raise him the way I was raised. My dad started me with the basic stuff, and I had to prove myself and earn my way up to the expensive toys and, the nice stuff. So it's all on how, to each their own. If they want to go out and spend the money for a $700 bow for their 7-year-old, that's their thing. But to
Right.
me, I want to go back to the way I was taught by my father and my brother, and open sights, compound bows, all that. And then he can, once he gets comfortable and he proves himself, and we start putting some time in the woods and stuff like that, then he can start using some of the more the technology and the easier way of doing stuff. But I mean, I'm sure we've all killed deer with open sights or with recurves or compounds, and I've killed deer with compounds, crossbows, everything. So yeah, it's definitely a conversation that all hunters talk about. It's bragging rights. I killed a deer at 100 yards open sights. I killed a deer with I have a cousin that does not use anything but a longbow.
Right.
That's all he hunts with. That's what he loves. It's in his blood. He loves to do it. So to each their own. We're not knocking anybody who doesn't want to use any of that stuff, but at the same time, I choose to raise my kids the way I was raised, with the old school stuff. And then as they get older, we can start getting into, the fun stuff and the easier way of doing stuff.
Sure. Learn it. I think here's the question, guys. What makes the hunt authentic to you? Because that means
Right.
something different to each one of us.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, you go, Chris. You go first.
No, I mean, just for me, and you guys have heard me say this 1,000 times. I even said it tonight or a couple of times, but tradition and the old school ways are the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the first person that's gonna, sit up there with a rifle and my warm boots on, so like, archery, that, you're saying that a couple of times. Archery is the biggest thing. Guys hate crossbows, but they're the same guys that have their compound bows that have fiber optic sights and whisker biscuits and arrow rests, and
Sure.
they can shoot that bow, like Cam Haines 80, 90 yards away, and I mean, where's the debate with that stop? Okay, well then you should just use a recurve or a longbow. Okay, well let's just use a spear. Let's just use a rock, when it gets down to
Yeah.
it,
How do we want to go down to it?
it's what you want, and it's what you can do to provide for your family. Or, the bottom line is it's supposed to be something that's fun. If it can get you out there and relax and provide for your family and do whatever you want that's healthy and ethical, do your thing, chicken wing.
All right. So quick vote. Trail cams, do they help, or do they take away skills?
I think they
They
help.
definitely help.
They definitely help. I don't think they take
Yeah.
away.
They
definitely
don't
help.
they don't remove like the use of trail, because that's one of those things that certain states let you use trail cams, certain states don't. Is there an element of skill lost when you run trail? And I use cell cam, so I'm just asking the question.
I would say it's free range. I mean, I've had bucks, and you've seen it. You run trail cams too.
Yeah.
I can run trail cams for the next 3.5 weeks and have a monster buck on there, and come rifle season, he's gone. So I mean, I'm not stopping him or helping him to come through. I'm just I'm tracking and figuring out his patterns, but he can change that up anytime he wants. I'm not, tying his hands to that.
Here's my biggest thing with anything. I how my brain works is I like to have a break from it. I don't want to be, this is me, I'm not knocking anybody. Please don't take it that way. I don't want to be that guy that's getting cell phone dings at 1 a.m. and just going crazy about it. I need to have a break from it, or a release
Yeah.
from it, And Josh and I mean, we have trail cams and we've used them, but it's also, there's an exciting part to like seeing a deer for the first time, or like going out and seeing trails for the first time. Okay, there's trails here. Let's do this. And that's just me. I told Ron, I actually opened a drawer the other day and I found three trail cams that we had taken down from other places and stuff. And my dad has one now, and I might set one up just to mess with it, but I don't think it takes away from anything. I mean, again, you got to be able to know where to put them. And if you're not putting, they're not just going to show up where the camera is.
Well, I mean,
You know,
Brittany's first ever buck, right there. I'd never gotten that on camera until the night she shot it. Never seen that buck on cam for the 3.5 months the cameras were out until the night he showed up. So I mean,
Yeah.
that didn't help. The trail cams didn't help us with that one. It just, we had the patterns of when the does were coming through, and he just happened to be following a hot doe at that point. So
Yeah, when the rut comes in, all bets are off. There's no doubt, no mistake about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Best gear win ever, and worst gadget fail. Any quick stories?
My best gear thing for deer hunting is a shooting stick. Chris will tell you, our dad preaches it. Having a shooting stick in your hand, or when you're sitting in a tree stand and you have a rifle, you immediately have a rest.
Yeah.
You can just a cheap little trick, wrap the bottom of it in duct tape so it's not loud when it tings against your tree stand, and you can just stick it right in a slot. You can adjust the height, the angle, everything on the fly with your gun in your hand. Easy little thing.
Yeah,
Pro
for
tip.
sure.
Anybody else? Stories?
Let me see.
You want to go, Chris?
Now you go ahead, Lee. I'm thinking of a couple.
I got one for you.
As I showed earlier, these guys know this is my go-to for duck
Yes.
hunting.
Good.
My brother and my father found this. You can buy it, but they laminated it and put it together in a little book. And this literally shows every bird, their what they look like in flight, their beaks, everything. And this has really honed my skills into telling what a bird is in flight. And that's the biggest thing when duck hunting, is knowing what you're shooting at.
Yeah.
That's the difference between $1,000 fine and losing your hunt license and having a great day.
Right.
So
Well,
this has been a win for us.
We've said it on this show before, and on Mike's Mountain and Marsh podcast. We actually utilized that book. We killed a merganser one time, and it was, you can tell a story, Lee. I can't remember exactly, but it was
Red-breasted mergansers. They look exactly the same as common mergansers, minus the nose hole is the only difference. And this book, Chris and my brother, we used it, and we were able to tell whether or not the female red-breasted or the female common, what it was. And it was because of this book. I mean, it was a legal bird either way, but it helped us decipher what the bird was.
Yeah, it's going to help you with your limits, which we actually killed a bunch of birds that day. And then also where we were on public land in Assateague, I guess you don't have to, but you should ethically. And when you sign out, you're supposed to report what you get, your harvests. So we were able to do that, right? So that's a good thing. What's yours, Josh? You were going to say about me?
For you, it would be that treble hook on the 50-foot rope.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for duck hunting, yes.
I have seen that treble hook come out of the pack numerous times for retrieving decoys that are stuck, or even retrieving a duck that got stuck in a bush floating down the creek. I've seen that. Just what is it, 2 pounds maybe? Easy to throw, easy to draw.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Ron.
No. I was just gonna say, I don't know who said it. If it was like Socrates or Confucius, one of those guys said, necessity is the mother of invention. And so, like I said, we've all been out and done this so many times, and you get that duck that's hung up in the brush pile or in the briar patch, or whatever. That grappling hook, it comes in handy, right? Because you've had to use it.
Yeah,
I could have used it. I dropped my water.
There's one in every group. There's one of us in every group.
Yeah, I mean, my brother-in-law is a welder, and I was talking about buying one online, and he goes, "I'll just make you one from work." And maybe one. It's just a cool thing to use. And there's places in the marsh. We talk about acetique all the time. If you don't know where you're going in there, and Lee and Josh can both tell you, you're going to fall in a hole and sink. And not to
Hmm.
be funny, you could die. There's stuff you're not going to get out of. If you're by yourself, you're not getting out of it. So to be able to have something like that or a retrieval stick is a great win. I am notorious for Josh is the same way we were raised, where we didn't spend a lot of money. If we like nice things, we're going to spend the money on it. I like Yeti stuff. They have a thing called a sidekick. It's like a really heavy duty rubber pouch that you can strap on. It's got molly straps. You can put on your backpack. You can put it in a backpack. It's waterproof. It floats. I keep my hunting license in it. You can keep your phone in it, your wallet in it when you hunt. It just stays in my pack all year. You can get them for 40, 50 bucks. I think they're worth it. That's a win. So, well, I don't know any fails. I'm sure there is fails, but like,
Well, let me. I could give you a failure story. I sold when I was a teenager. I had an '88 Pontiac Fiero,
that is a tiny
and
car.
Yeah.
it was a cool car for a teenager to have. But I sold it for what I sold it for, and part of the deal was I got a lever action 30-30 in the deal, which was pretty cool because I didn't have a 30-30, and that's like an old timey open iron sights gun, and I wanted to hunt with that so bad, and I took it out maybe 3 times hunting. I've only killed one deer with it, and it's debatable whether I'm the one that killed that deer or not. But I had an opening day, man, and I took that out instead of my odd 6 because of where I was hunting. It was big timber. It wasn't like open fields. I didn't have to reach out and touch them. It was a great gun for where I was hunting, but that was back when doe season. You could hunt does on opening day, and I had a pile of them run through, and I just ran through ammunition, and not a single one of those deer fell. And I know, like, I'm not saying I'm the greatest shot, but I am not that bad of a shot. And I've put that piece of gear in the closet and I haven't gotten it out yet. And that was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So sometimes the gear does make a difference. And I don't know. Sometimes it is skill. I'm not saying I didn't have a part in that, but sometimes the gear is just trash.
I have one epic gear fail. I don't know, Chris, if you remember the second year we hunted a Cadorus, we got the blind spot number 8 all the way down the far end, and I was real excited. I bought myself a semi-automatic shotgun. And I was really excited about it. I should have spent the money and bought a nice one, but instead I bought what was known as a TriStar Raptor. And on the first duck that I shot at, I blew it to pieces, and there it sits.
The remnants.
I killed the duck though. It's a female wood duck. She's on my wall right behind me.
I had a similar thing one time, not with that. I bought a cheap shotgun, 40 bucks. There was a dude Lee and I used to work with. His name was Trossel. Just was moving, and he sold me a single. I think it was a Rossi Brazilian single shot 12 gauge shotgun. And that thing was basically a pipe bomb with a handle. And it was cool. It was accurate, but it kicked like a mule. There was nothing to it. And they're collectible. I don't even know if the gun itself is cheap, but he sold it to me for 40 bucks. It kicked so hard that I took the sling nut out of the front grip. What I didn't realize was that was what held it together. And I shot at a rabbit one time, and that thing blew apart, and I'm literally holding the pieces. And I'm like, okay, is my face still here? And yeah, so let's keep that in mind for next time. So $40
Keep the screws in the guns.
Yeah. I'm sure we've all been stuck in like the marketing gimmicks. I will say the one fail that I can think of is us waterfowl hunters. We're always trying to find something easy to make our lives a little easier. Mojo came out with like this shotgun shell pickup stick. It was supposed to be the greatest thing in the world. It is the biggest piece of crap that I've ever owned.
Doesn't
Luckily,
do
it was
the
only
trick.
like Yeah, like it was only like $12. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to save your back and stuff and pick up shells in the water and all that. I'd rather just stick my hands in the water and get the shells out. I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, that would probably be the biggest thing. I literally put it in my pack. I used it 3 times, and I'm like, this. I'm not saving any time here. This is a gimmick, one of those marketing things. It was cool. They had commercials for it and stuff, but yeah, it definitely has been left behind since.
It's cool ideas, man. I mean, that's it. The necessity is the mother of all invention. If you could invent one thing to aid the hunt, what would it be, guys? Rapid fire as we wrap up. I know it's a loaded question, but like if you could invent
Ooh,
one
that is
thing to aid the hunt.
I would invent a duck decoy that can dive completely underwater and then submerge and then reemerge,
That's a cool one.
because that's what I mean, but I don't know how to do that.
We want the rights to these ideas when
That,
someone
that
goes out and invents it too.
we're talking about technology. That takes technology. I would say that I would like my duck decoys to come back to me. I just throw them out, and then I press a button, and they all come back. So I don't have to go after them.
I'm sorry that all 8 of your decoys you tried to bring back. I would say, honestly, this sounds funny, and they make nice ones, but like Josh is a boat guy. I'm not a boat dude. So a nice, good step off of a boat, sturdy step. I'm not talking about.
That's only because
Something
he's
to
eaten it more
disembark.
times. Yeah, that's because he's eaten it more times getting off of a boat than he has.
Speaking
have
from
squished-
experience.
I have squished bufflehead juice all over a pair of coveralls to this day. And but yeah, that would be my thing, you know. So
Well, Chris, I know this is an awesome topic. Thanks for bringing this to the table, to the forefront. I know we were all looking forward to sort of discussing this and debating, and we could probably sit here and go on and tell stories for a long time. But I want to land the plane. What do we got coming up as far as show prep? I guess we're ending August here, and we're rolling into September.
Working on some guests, and then Josh, tell us what our next one's going to be.
So it's going to be a promo for the new show, The Cookbook, where I go around and get together with some various people, like my man Lee right here. Going to get together with him again.
Twice.
We'll get into that. I'm going up to meet up with Ron towards middle of September. Me and Chris are together all the time. We're going to be filming some stuff at this picnic coming up next week. So it's going to be a good time. But the premise of the show is getting together with all of our fellow outdoorsmen and learning what you're doing with your harvest, with your meat. What do you like to eat? What do you like to feed your family? What do you like? What are you guys doing with everything? Are you saving the bones for your dogs? Are you, things along those lines, putting them in soup, things like that. It's just stuff that I want to know. The next show that we have coming up, I believe, is going to be us four again, plus Mike Beecham, right?
Yeah, Mike from Mountain and Marsh is going to come on. He's a good friend. He's we call him our mountain kin because we're kind of related to him. And we're going to talk some. He's a great cook. He loves to cook. And
he's a great cook.
We're going to talk some of our favorite recipes and kind of segue into the launch of. I think your first episode is going to have just come out, and then we're going to kind of promo some new stuff and go from there.
So if we're doing this on the 9th, then that'll be the same day that Mr. Bolner's episode comes out. So
right on. Well, we'll continue to promote it. Where can people find you?
So I am on YouTube at The Cookbook. I am on Instagram at The Cookbook 3B, and I am on Facebook just as me. I'm not really trying to put the cookbook all over Facebook just yet. I'm trying to keep it to Instagram and YouTube and those kind of things. But yeah, definitely jump on, give me a follow. Me and my wife are trying to put together some goofy videos too every now and again, just for fun. So yeah, man, that's what we're saying. So I really appreciate all of your guys' help. I mean, every one of you guys has been more than willing to jump in and lend a hand or advice, or sometimes let me come by twice. We'll get into that. But I mean, I just want to say how much I appreciate the support that I'm getting from everybody at Menser and everybody at 3B and all all my close friends and all these people that I'm quickly becoming close friends with. I really wanted to say a very heartfelt thank you, and it's very much appreciated. So it's good things to come, good delicious things to come. And like Ron told me earlier, if you're hungry, then eat.
That's right, man. That's right. How do you make it taste good? The hungry will eat.
I was
All right,
cooking
Lee.
my
How
dinner
do
last
folks
night.
find
Sorry,
you,
go
man?
Lee underscore 3B Outdoors. Um, Starting to get into season prep for deer hunting, and duck hunting will be coming around shortly. So I'm hoping to do some filming this year. We got the 3B pheasant hunt coming up. I'm going to get the drone out and do some drone footage of that this year. So that'll be cool. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Cool.
Love it, dude. Love it, dude.
Cool, yeah.
Parting words from
was-
you, Chris?
I was actually cooking dinner last night, like talking to myself, like I was being filmed for Josh's show, to the point where my
Preparing.
10-year-old daughters were like, "What are you doing?" I'm
I'm
like,
pretending Uncle Josh is here.
I'm practicing. Uncle Josh is here.
All right, Chris, how can folks find 3B?
3B on Instagram. I don't know what the tag is anymore. There it is, 3B underscore Outdoors Club. I said it wrong on one of the last podcasts I was on. Find us, man. We're gearing up. We're starting to put a bunch of funny stuff out again. Josh's stuff's on there. Mentor stuff's out there. We're sharing other people's stuff. So come on out, man. Get outdoors. Join the club. Send us your pictures, man. And we're looking for guests for this as we get into the season. So you got adventures and stories. Hit us up.
Yeah.
Come on, let's hang
You
out.
guys go out, you start hunting, send us some photos. We want to see your successes. We want to see what gear you're using. We want to hear your stories. You can find us at Mentor Outdoors on just about all your socials, and always you can follow Tracks and Tackle. This is becoming a very tight-knit group. I appreciate you guys. Josh, thanks for your kind words. But this group it is becoming an awesome group of guys to hang out with, and I just look forward to talking with you guys, everybody coming on the show. So big thanks to Lee, Chris, and Josh for coming and hanging out tonight. We appreciate your insights, and we'll probably put some of those tools to practice. Everybody else out there, drop us a comment. Tell us what you use. What is your gear go to, and what do you have in the bag? Interested to hear about that. Till next time, I guess. Nature's our playground. Get out there, happy hunting, and stay wild, folks.